Welcome to Deeper Life Podcast. I'm so excited today for a special guest, Miss Shana Poe Jones. So
Yes.
excited to have you today.
Thank you.
For all the viewers and listeners of Deeper Life Podcast, I want to thank you guys for joining us today. But I'm so excited about this interview today.
Thank
So
you.
excited. So, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. I am feeling good. It's a beautiful day. It's not as cold as it has been, so I feel real great about that. I'm a spring baby, so
Good, good. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you making time out of your busy schedule to be with us. And I know you could have been anywhere else, but I'm glad you were here today. So thank you for joining us today. And so, little notes here that I have here about you. You're actually from Albany, Georgia.
Albany, Georgia.
Albany, Georgia. Oh,
Albany.
Albany. Okay, okay.
Albany.
Got to get
Yeah,
that
yeah.
pronunciation right.
Everybody knows you say Albany. Albany. Albany, Georgia, the Southwest.
Southwest, huh? Okay,
Yes.
so tell me about
Growing
Georgia.
up there, Southwest Georgia is so unique. We call it the little A of Atlanta. We have one of the biggest HBCU college there, Auburn State University, which I had the honor to attend. Um, we are known for so many different historical things that have happened in our city, and I love it because we are so southern that the southern hospitality just roll off automatically when you cross over that line to go down to Albany, Georgia. So we are an hour and a half away from the Florida line, but we are at the heart of the state of Georgia. We are truly the Peach City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Now, currently, right now, here you live in St. Louis, obviously.
obviously.
Yeah, and because that's where this interview is happening. um, so you are the founder of Keep Pushing Inc.
Yes.
I believe that started back in 2019. Am I
Yes,
correct?
you're
Or
correct. You have done your
okay,
research.
back in 2019, and founder. Um, what made you start Keep Pushing Inc.?
Ooh. So be honest with you, I always serve my community. I always have been out on the ground serve my community. And before I started Keep Pushing Inc., I held a lot of leadership management positions. And one of my first business I ever started because I'm a vet tech. My first profession is a vet tech. I love animals. So I'm a certified dog trainer, canine trainer for CNI, for bombs and explosion and all that kind of stuff. So that's my first love, to work with animals and just train and do all that kind of stuff. But my first business I ever had was a doggy boarder. It was like a hotel Marriott,
Right.
where people could drop off their dog. We bathed them, we housed them, we made them look cute. We put them on the best cologne, the best clothes, and literally we did all that because that was my love at that time. But also, I always loved to help people. So my second business was One Stop LLC. I always dreamed to have a company where people could come and get everything they needed under one building. And when I say One Stop LLC, is basically, and it's still a vision, and it might still come forth, but basically have a building where I had my taxpayers, I had doctors, I had counselors, I had nonprofits. I had everybody in this one building. So when people came in, we was able to take care. I even had mechanics.
Wow.
And so this is like everywhere. The business center for entrepreneurs, where we taught them how to write the business plan, how to do, because that's my heart. I really realized that um, people shouldn't have to spend a whole lot of money to get their vision off the ground.
Right.
They go to a lot of seminars, we learn all this stuff, and most of the stuff we have when we go to these seminars is common stuff that we already know. But people just don't know how to navigate through a system that's already free to us.
Yeah.
Not knocking people that make
Right.
money off of it, because
Right.
some people just lazy. They just want to do it. I was
Right.
one of those people. I just wanted somebody else to do it for me.
Yeah.
But some people who cannot afford it, but they have the passion and they really want to do something, I wanted to give them an opportunity to come somewhere where they could do that. So actually, when I came to St. Louis, I always operate under One Stop LLC. My first event here in St. Louis, when I moved here back in 2017, I did my first event in 2018 downtown on Market Street at 1520 at the Federal Building, and we had a family reunion for the house. And we literally had a family reunion with the T-shirts, with the barbecue, with the DJs and everything, like you go to your own family reunion. But only thing we did was we plugged in the resource tables. So I had all the doctors, all the barbershops out there, brand new shoes, brand new clothing. We had all the testing, the housing authority. We had all this place, and we had it right there at the Federal Building, right on Market Street. And so that was the highlight of always want to make sure people have what they need without going through a lot of red tapes.
Yeah.
So in the process of doing that, I was working out in Fenton. I was an inspector. I inspect parts. I'm a very handy, like to use tools and forklifts and all that kind of stuff. So I was a very out there in Spirit, Chesterfield on the airplanes, one of the top inspectors and everything. And I was doing both. I was serving my community doing that, and even the company was writing me checks, and they're like, you know what? You really don't want to be here. You really don't want to be here. But God had a purpose. God had a vision. And in 2019 of September, God told me that I was getting ready to serve his community. And he said, I want you to name it, keep pushing. And it was like me waking up like, okay, I don't understand, but okay, keep pushing. Don't sound like a catch. I'm a marketing major.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I noticed that back in here.
Yeah, I'm a marketing major. So, we was taught, make sure you name your business something that people would grab hold to.
Right.
Like something that, when you make your logos and everything, people like boom, boom, boom.
Right.
So on the market point, I'm like, keep pushing. I can't even say KP. That don't even, you know what I'm saying? You get KPI. What, it just didn't ring to me.
Right.
And so I went and registered Keep Pushing and did all the thing, got me a board team, all that stuff, but I didn't really activate it. I didn't, I was like, okay, let me dig more because I didn't know more. I didn't know a lot about 501c3. I didn't know a lot about the nonprofit. So
yeah.
I was like, let me do some more studies. So
it's definitely a different animal.
Oh, it's a different animal.
Yeah.
It's different from profit to nonprofit. It's like a whole different guideline. So my idea was I was going to still work in corporate and do some courses and learn more so I could understand more. Well, God had a different plan.
Yeah, wow.
Because unfortunately, I have lupus, so a lot of people know I'm a survivor of lupus. I still survive lupus, even though lupus tapped me every day. I'm a survivor of lupus. And the next day, I registered, keep pushing. I went to work the next day, and I had a faint. I fell out at work. Literally.
Wow.
Now I'm in corporate world. So now they got to call an ambulance and everything.
Right.
And then when I get to the hospital, they think I'm having a heart attack and, all kind of stuff. I'm in corporate world, so, they watching.
Yeah.
So when I got better and I went back to work, you know how you jump back, go back to work. You get that knock on the door and say, hey, can we talk to you for a minute?
Right.
And so, they gave you that nice talk. You're like a liability to us.
Right.
Because maybe if you had fell off the airplane, hit your head, or, if you were somewhere, we will be liable for you.
Yeah.
We understand you can't control your sickness, but you're a liability. So we're going to give you a service play. We're gonna take care of you.
Oh, wow.
But,
it's corporate world for you.
It's corporate world.
Yeah.
And, we understand, me being the entrepreneur and me having employees, your insurance, you look at everything, it's corporate. Because when your employees is on your turf, if something do happen,
right,
we are liable. So, I was kind of sad, but at the same time, I had some peace. But I was like, well, okay, God, maybe this is my time to really dig in deeper.
Right.
But who knew? Right around the corner, not even 30 days later, we'll be hit with COVID.
Yeah, COVID really threw a wrench in everyone's plans.
So just imagine being laid off.
Yeah.
Want to start new God, business,
New business, yeah, new entrepreneurship.
new entrepreneurship, and you already got the odds against you because you know they tell you in the first 2 or 3 years you ain't
Yeah,
gonna do nothing.
right.
But you have a national shutdown.
Mm.
Can you imagine as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that would have been crazy to think about. So how did you because obviously COVID affected everyone. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, from nonprofits to for-profits
Mm-hmm.
to every business to churches. I mean, it affected the world
Mm-hmm.
literally. So how did you come up from under that? Or how did
Well,
you bounce back?
I'll be honest with you, I was depressed. I was sad because once again, my city, Albany, Georgia, all on the news and everything, you could go back and research. We got hit hard with COVID. Our town is small. We only have, I said 1.5 hospitals, but they say
Right.
they have 2. But our hospital really hold probably 300 to 500, not even that much.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so you thinking about a small town that's got like 3,500. I'm not exact with the numbers, but I'm just giving you an
Yeah.
example. And the hospital only hold 5, and you got 2,500 of them positive for COVID, and we're not talking about just positive, but they all need to be on the ventilator.
Right. Right.
So you got a lot of people being going to the small towns around us, like Thomasville,
Mm.
down in Tallahassee. They shipping them to Columbus and everywhere, but we get hit hard, and nobody. We are closing it down there. So it's like me, my mom, my sister, everybody live in the house, so we all closing it. So it's a whipple effect because everybody got COVID, and then now your grandma in there. So it's
Yeah.
like it just like a
Domino effect. So to
domino
speak.
effect.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And within that domino effect, every day of my life started in March, it was a phone call.
Yeah.
It was either an uncle, a cousin, it was either a classmate, it was either a longtime church member,
Right.
it was either, somebody
Yeah.
that was not just, hey, but somebody that was actually close to me. Somebody who, it was mothers that had planted seed that helped my mama raise me
Mm.
that was dying.
Wow.
And I was depressed. I couldn't go home.
Yeah.
We couldn't travel.
So a lot of people close to you that basically, was affected by COVID
Yeah.
and ultimately affected you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so more is more of, hey, you could watch the funeral online because can't go have a funeral.
Yeah.
So everything was just online,
Yeah.
Couldn't do
Yeah.
this. And you have your friends and everybody calling, they all sad, they all hurt. And back then you couldn't bury your family members like normal.
Right. Right.
It was so many restrictions. So I was depressed. I was literally here, St. Louis, depressed.
Mm.
And that night, God said, I need you to go up and clear out your pantry, and I need you to put a table outside. I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm like, God, okay, I know you want me to be obedient, but I just no understanding right now.
Right.
I don't have no understanding. And he said, I need you to put out a table in your front yard and put food on it.
Mm.
I was like, so am I supposed to clear out my pantry or put food on it? What? And you know how we get.
Yeah, we got a million questions.
And it was like, he said, I need you to get up, put out a table, and put food on it. So at the time, I looked at my partner, I looked at my son, I said, y'all, let's make some sandwiches. Let's make some sack bags. I said, get some apples and oranges. We went up the street. I said, God want me to put a table outside.
Right.
So I had a adopted son at the time at 15. He's like, well, can we go get some cardboard? I can make some signs and everything so people know. I was like, that's fine. I said, we go get some cardboard. We make some signs. This COVID. I said, that's fine. And we put out there, keep pushing. And at that time, it made sense. Because the message was to help people keep pushing.
Keep pushing through this whole craziness of COVID-19.
Like that at that time, the name made so much sense. Yeah. Well, my house was on the corner. We was at a 4-stop. So when they got there, they saw keep pushing. And then they also saw this table that say grab and go.
Mm.
That's what he gave me.
Wow.
And
Grab
so
and go table. Grab and go table.
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a great name when you think about it.
I mean, yeah.
When you think about the logistics of it, I
Yeah.
mean, you grab and you go.
You grab and go.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we did that. The first table we put out had a basket of oranges, basket of apples, and some brown set lunches.
Simple.
Simple.
Nothing fancy, nothing off the wall,
Mm-mm.
nothing that costs an arm and a leg.
Nothing.
Very economical.
Nothing. And I didn't have a big table, so I had
Right.
a little card table.
Okay.
I mean, not even a card table. It was probably a 4-foot table, just a little small table.
Where you could put your dinner in front of you and sit it right next to you.
Yeah.
And I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So I put that out there.
Yeah.
And the crazy part, I didn't even extend the legs. I didn't know the legs were supposed to come out. It was just a little table.
Yeah.
If you ever look at the picture, you'll see it was just a little table.
Wow.
So everybody that came to the table actually bent down, because the table was that little. And so I did that, and we watched the camera and said, oh, people stopping, people were honk and going about their business. But towards the end of that day, I noticed when people took something, somebody came out and dropped something. People took something, somebody came out and dropped something. So now my set lunches and my apples and oranges turned into cereal, canned goods, different other little things. People put like pamphlets out. So I'm like, okay, God.
So people started donating, in other words. Okay.
So I was like, okay, God, I did what you told me. So
wow.
Now I'm going back into my pit, my darkness.
Interesting. So you basically, God spoke to you and gave you a simple direction. You implemented that. You went out and you did it. Didn't really know how it was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really fully see the end of the vision. It was just an instruction, really, at the time, a beginning instruction from God. Didn't really know the outcome. But then again, you start seeing fulfillment of that direction, of that plan, and the next step, because people started donating, people started giving, and next thing you know, it started growing. Because I noticed when I did some research, obviously you got the grab and go table, but it led into other services within your nonprofit. It led into financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
It led into health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
It led into all these other type of programs to help benefit the community. Can you speak on some of those programs, those other programs?
So through the grab and go table, that went from a little small 4-foot table to a total of 8 6-foot table in my yard.
Wow.
People started coming. I started to see all type of people. And they would ask questions. They would ask this. They would, because COVID.
Yes, COVID.
Yeah, I remember COVID.
Yeah.
We was isolated. People had questions. Yeah. People wanted to know. They just want somebody to talk to.
Right.
Their life have just changed within 24 hours. Like, they couldn't go out to their favorite stores, their favorite, it's entertainment to release. They would pull up and they have questions. And questions be like, I can't even go to the bank. So how am I supposed to, manage this? You know what I'm saying? How am I supposed to figure out savings? How am I, different things started. It's just like you're talking to your neighbor. Just, how am I supposed to do this? How are we supposed to do this?
And I guess those questions may have probably inspired you to come up with maybe solutions for those questions.
And that's what it is, because me being a marketing major, me knowing my skills, my background, one stop where I have developed with my LLC, it was like, let me start reaching out to different businesses and see who is actually working. Are they working from home, or what they're doing, or how can we still reach the community? The first bank I ever partnered with was Stifle Bank and Trust. And I met one of the ladies in the neighborhood. She was like a head branch manager or whatever. And I was like, listen, people worry about their homes. They worry about their savings. They worry about this. I said, is there any way we could do anything to help them through this? And she said, sure. She said, we could do Zoom, because, everybody was doing Zoom.
Yeah.
So we started doing budget class on Zoom.
Wow.
People sign up, Join us every Saturday morning. We do budget class one weekend. The next weekend we'll talk about home ownership during the time of COVID. You know what you need to talk to, how to protect your mortgage and everything. We'll talk about credit because a lot of people weren't able to pay their bills. They lost their job and everything. How do you protect that? How do you write the letters to your debtors? How do you explain to them the hardship and what's going on? How they understand the law that was happening at the time? You know, so we was interceding doing that part, helping people understanding what their rights was and everything. So that's how financial literacy came about. So every Saturday of a month, we have a different type of where people log in with me and a banker, and we'll go through process. So that's how that class got developed.
So this is crazy because I'm sitting here listening to you, and just off of one commandment God gave you, one direction led into an education program or education seminar, training, so to speak, for the community on finances.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're feeding their body. You know, you're supplying food for their body, but you're also providing information that will help better them as a person in the community financially.
Yes.
Which is just amazing when you think about it. So how did you get into health and wellness then?
So another thing, we have a lot of kids that was at home. You know, a lot of kids was running their parents crazy. I had 3 in my house.
Okay.
You know, and so parents would come in a van. I literally would have mom. This is no joke. I can send you the pictures. I literally have mom pull up in their vans because they couldn't go right. Another reason why the grab and go table was so oh my God, blessing.
Right.
Mothers that had 5 kids or 4 kids who used to have nannies or used to have babysitters while they go run and do their grocery shopping, while they go do their errands. But now you're telling a mother who have all these kids, we got to run to the grocery store to get groceries because we still got to eat. And she trying to juggle buying groceries, and I got 5 kids want to run around because they have not been in school, so they got so much energy.
Right.
They got so much going on.
That's true, because school was on lockdown during that time.
Lockdown.
Everybody was staying home.
Everybody was staying home because they said don't go socialize with other people.
Right.
Don't go be, so you got to burn energy. Got to figure out how to burn this energy.
Yeah.
Because mother was pulling up kids in there. Can I shop on your table? They would even send me grocery lists. Can you just get this? I pay you, but can you put this on your table? Like, because it was a juggle.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let me reach out to another that I know about fitness, that do training and do different things. What can we do? So we came up, the first thing we did on Zoom, because Zoom was the highlight of things.
Yeah.
Let's have a wellness. Let's have a breathing. So we'll get a whole bunch of mom and we'll do Zoom in the morning time to get them breathing for their day. And that started the wellness. And then in the evening time, around about 2 or 3, we'll do another Zoom with kids. Energetic, burn, let's jump rope, make it excited in the house and wear them down so they ease down. And let's breathe. Our big thing is breathing. When you're going through trauma, stop for a second and let's breathe. Because your mind is already going like this, but you need to take at least 10 seconds to just breathe.
Just calm down and bring it down to a relaxed level.
And then we help you. So with health and wellness, we help you breathe, but we also help you plan to how you know not to man it through the day, but we plan. So we also teach you in health and wellness, one, you cannot change what you cannot do.
Right.
You cannot do what you cannot change. We are in a crisis. You are in a trauma. Nobody can pay bills right now. So I need you to breathe. But we're going to teach you over here in financial literacy and everything, how to budget while you're in a crisis. But we're going to also show you how to write these letters to all your debtors so you can protect your credit.
So, okay.
And then we're going to give you food and hygiene supplies and cleaning supplies because the table It's there for you.
So that's how you got into hygiene supplies, also,
Mm-hmm.
because it led to food to like here's some personal items. Now you're gonna need
Because
toothpaste, toothbrush.
people would come, and you look at all the different pictures of my table. People would come, and then I go outside like, who dropped out a whole case of toilet paper? It's on the table. All right. People, oh, so we do need hygiene, sanitizers, napkins. Yeah, that is important. Okay. Come back. Yeah, people do go to the store looking for the pens and fingernail polish, because you got to think about during COVID, people go shop for everything. So the grab and go table became the spot where everything was at the table.
Yeah, because
It was nothing like most people like pantry, like, oh, we just do this. No, everything. So
yeah,
people knew that table. If they
had
brought it
everything.
there, everything. We had Tylenol, medicine, children's stuff,
Yeah.
everything that you could go in Walmart, we had at the grab and go table.
Well, I think the grab and go table probably worked out pretty well for senior citizens people. And here is why I say it probably was a really great thing for them. Even though it benefited everybody from the child all the way up to like the single parent or whoever. But a lot of older folks at that time, senior citizen, was afraid to go inside Walmart because Walmart was so congested and packed with so many people. And a lot of these senior citizens, they have health issues and they didn't want to be around and take a chance to catch COVID. So your grab and go table probably saved a lot of lives.
And it did. And back then, I wouldn't say it like this, but today I can stand because God have told me I could stand and be bold about it because He used me for that time. It did.
Wow.
Most of my pictures that people took of that was around that table was my seniors.
Wow.
And we had the 1% milk. We had the low fat milk. We had the whole milk. We had low sodium canned goods. We had no salt canned goods. We had all that. And they was there and they was able to shop and not, we don't have no restrictions, no limitations. No, they was able to get what they want. And even if they did not see it, they'd say, hey, Miss Shana, if you ever come across this, can you let me know? So then I know I need to, any donors, hey, what you need? Hey, I need you to go get more applesauce. Hey, we need Ensure on the table. Hey, we need this.
Right.
Because donors start asking me, what do you really need? Hey, I got a list of things that I know people stopping by for. Hey, we need some baby aspirins.
Yeah.
Hey, that Mucinex? We need that because, that's $20 in the store. And we got a lot of people that's congestion because they got COVID. Can you help me get that on the table?
Wow. So
you understand what I'm saying?
So you in a sense, with the Keep Pushing Inc. and your grab and go table, really became a one-stop shop for your community for consumer goods.
And that came back to my One Stop LLC, what God gave me a long time ago.
Long time ago, but instead you're doing it for the community.
The community.
Yeah.
All for free.
That's powerful.
All for free.
Wow. Now, obviously you're smart. You have a marketing background. Was marketing your major?
Yes.
Yeah. So marketing was your major, and I believe I saw that when I did the background on you. But it's just amazing how if you are a sincere person, and you really want to be a blessing to the community and to the world, you really could use any talent or any ability that you have that was supposedly meant for secular and turn it into godly services for the kingdom of God, for the community, which is just mind-blowing how you were able to transition from your one-stop, LLC that you created to really transitioning that philosophy and that structure over to your Keep Pushing Inc., which is just amazing in itself. Now, let's go back a little bit. We talked about, obviously we talked about how Keep Pushing Inc. started and the services that you guys provide and everything like that. But let's go back a little bit. Let's go back in time, if we will. Let's go back to back when you were a little girl, maybe a teenager. what what did you want to do when when you grew up? Like, what did you want to be? Like, who, if was it a, some kids have dreams of being a basketball player, a singer, or an athlete, or whatever, or a doctor, a lawyer. But what did that little girl Shana want to do?
I wanted to be a lawyer.
You wanted to be a
I
lawyer.
wanted to dress up in suits every day with a briefcase because I used to watch what was the
Was it
show?
Bill Cosby or no?
No, it wasn't Bill Cosby. I love Bill Cosby, but it was Queen Latifah's show with
Oh, okay.
Max.
Okay, yeah,
Max?
yeah, I remember.
The three girls, they all lived together. Then they
Right.
had the two guys upstairs.
Was it Living Single?
Living Single, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I want to be like Max. How Max was feisty and everything, but she had this powerful job, and she
Right.
she was the lawyer, but she was the crazy girl on the
Right.
other side. I wanted to be Max.
You wanted to be Max?
I wanted to be Max. I wanted to wear suits, walk around, look important with my heels on, and that's what I wanted to do.
Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you think about those shows, TV shows, sitcoms from back in the day, a lot of them
good back in the day.
Yeah, and they were a lot of it was obviously it was a lot more wholesome to watch and clean comedy.
Yeah.
Now the comedy is just
we don't watch it.
just a hot mess, so to speak. But okay, so which you mentioned this briefly, that you was a licensed vet
tech.
So what made you get into that? What made you want to get licensed?
Oh God, so you getting deep now. I don't know how transparent I'm supposed to be on this interview, but you're getting deep now.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you an exclusive.
Right. Okay.
It's exclusive because I only think I have talked about this. No, I haven't talked about none of my interviews, but one. Not really. Yeah, I touched on it one. So back in the day, I was in the world. So me, in my youth days, growing up and everything, I was a spoiled brat. I was a military brat. I was the girl that probably every friend wanted to be because I was raised just above, with as they say, with the silver spoon in the mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so
your family had. They probably wasn't rich, but they had money.
They weren't rich, but it was back then,
Middle class, would you say?
Yeah, we were middle class. My daddy, military, high rank. This is when the military was paying real good, and we was real. Mama didn't have to do nothing, but she was a good teacher. So those the bomb jobs back then.
Oh, well, yeah.
Teacher, military.
Yeah.
I don't think we was messing with the doctor, but everybody living good. So I never had to really worry about anything. I compare myself sometimes like a PK kid. Okay. We always follow the line, do all that, but we get off. I went to Wilberforce University in Ohio. That's my college. And never experienced the world, but got there and on my own. And it's like, ooh,
just wanted to experience life.
I just want to experience life.
Yeah.
Got the sorority, got the friends, got everything, just life.
Right.
I feel it. I'm loose.
Right.
On it. Let's go. And during that time of experience life, I ran into trouble.
So As we all do.
I ran into trouble. No matter how smart I was, no matter how king and everything, I ran into trouble and I know today I can say it with no problem, that my mama and daddy money couldn't buy me out because God had a purpose for me.
Right.
He had a true purpose for my life. Mm-hmm. And so I ran into trouble, and that trouble landed me some long time, some very long time. So me being the person I am and the smart person I am, even though I ran into trouble and I did my time, I didn't do my time like the normal people. I still was the warden assistant. I still was the running the show. Okay. I still was, even in there.
You still made good grades?
I still made good grades. I even got over 6 people paroled out. I even got lifers sent home. Even now, I got an award 3 months ago for acknowledgement of being able to write letters to the parole board and get people out. And do kind of things. So even though I was in my own storm,
Right.
God always had a servant heart in me,
Mm-hmm.
and He used me during that process.
Right.
So that process was to get education into the Department of Corrections back then, where people could receive their um, bachelor's or certification training and everything. And one of the certification programs that I brought to the correction back then was seeing our dog. And so the correction Department of Correction back in Georgia was able to get a CNI program at the women camp where they housed 10 dogs, and I was the first leader of that program with 6 other inmates. And we went down to Florida. We went through intensive training for 2 years, which actually gave us certification and taught us everything, give us all our qualification, going to real labs, going through real training, where our dogs up to today was out really helping people and used as service work dogs. Wow. And we all did it from inside the wall. So either as I said, my mind was playing like when I finished my term, I had to have something to go out to make money and everything. So that was legit and everything. So that's how I got into vet tech.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, because I reason why I ask you that because I like to find out what experiences, what other careers and backgrounds led you to where you at right now in the present. What I guess what molded you, those experiences that molded you and helped you get to where you are right now. Because a lot of people think that you just popped up and you just gifted like this, but you have to go through some things. You have to learn some things. You have to experience some things.
And everything that I do, I had this conversation yesterday. Only way I could be Shana, as most people say, Shana Alicia Poole Jones, is because Shana Alicia Poole Jones, have went through a lot
of stuff.
A lot of people think that she don't have experienced nothing, but as you know, in the last year, if we just go to the last year,
right,
I have went through a lot, from sickness to grief, of losing my only brother, to watching my only house burn down to the ground, to rebuilding, to still stand and still want to serve. I have gone through a lot, but I have, back then I used to fight it, but now I realize God used all of it, from even the trouble and everything, for me witness other girls and other experience, and me coming out and still standing and doing all that. He have used that for me to have the heart. So when COVID hit, I was able to welcome anybody to my table.
Right.
I was able to communicate with any nationality, for anybody, anything. I was not blinded by color. I wasn't blinded by how much they made. I wasn't blinded by nothing. I accept everybody because God put me in a position long time ago where somebody had to accept me, where I didn't have no choice. But I had to watch, and we all had to sit together, because we all had one common number today. We was all separated from our family and behind walls, and we all had to come together. So now that I'm on the other side, I use that same push that I had back then to push and help my community. Wow. That's why back in 2021, I ran for office in Maplewood, which I won. I became councilwoman.
Oh, wow.
In spite of everything. Because I wanted to know the laws. I want to know I needed to be in rooms to understand, and I did that term. You understand what I'm saying? Until I moved out of Maplewood. Right. So now I'm here.
Right.
But that all play a part to how I stand today.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. And yeah, when I think about, you serving as councilwoman there, when I think about all the previous ventures and previous entrepreneurship projects and things that you have done in the past, really led to where you are right now. Let's talk a little bit about your family. Now, you have what I consider is one of the coolest sons in the whole wide world. The guy is just downright cool. When I see him, He's always a breath of fresh air. He's such an awesome young man, and I don't say that about many kids and many young men, and that kid right there is that's a special kid. So you have one biological son, you got two adopted sons. I'm assuming that if I read was
Yes.
if it's correct or not.
You're right.
Okay, so and I'm assuming the adopted sons are not with you right now, or
So I have one,
you have one that's
Trisha.
Okay,
I don't know if you
Trisha.
ever see the young little
Okay,
munchkin.
okay,
He's
okay.
4 years old.
Okay, so he's 4.
Yes. And then the Marcus, I share him with another young man.
Okay, okay.
But both of them are my babies.
Good,
I
good.
got them within Trisha. I got him in September the 28th, 19, before COVID.
Oh wow.
I got
Okay.
the Marcus December 1st, 2019, right before COVID.
Right.
So for 2 years, I had both of those boys and trying to start a business in COVID. And then I had my youngin, who was at Mizzou at the time, but my Nathaniel, who God
Nathaniel,
who have wrestled and got him on the right path. But that's my as a single mother, I would say that's my, if I didn't have, oh my gosh, that's
kind of like your rock in a way.
That's
is
my
kind
rock.
Of, you know.
My son, because my son have seen me at the lowest,
Go
he has
through
seen
it.
me at the middle, he has seen me back, and he seen me go through, he has seen me, and now he see me at this level.
Wow.
And he just like, he look at anybody, somebody, y'all don't even understand my mommy.
Yeah.
That's his favorite word to people, because they be saying, he's like, y'all don't understand what she have really went through.
Yeah, and
you know, y'all just see this cover, but y'all don't see the layers, what she actually went through, what she fight literally. Because this don't come easy now. I don't believe my life serving people and all that don't come easy.
Yeah, because you're a target right now for the devil, actually, because he see you out there doing ministry. He see you out there giving back to the community. And while you're giving back to the community, taking care of their fleshly desires, you're giving back to them spiritually. You invite them to church. You're telling them about Jesus. You're breaking down the gospel to them. You're witnessing to them. You're being the light, like you're being the salt of the earth. You're doing what you're supposed to do, and that's what's so exciting about it. But at the same time, it also brings some spiritual attacks. It brings financial attacks. It brings health attacks. It brings like you were just in the hospital. Was it a year and a half, or what was it? A year ago? A year ago?
1 year.
Yeah, you were just in the hospital, and
this time last year, I was still in the hospital.
God did a miracle.
Brought me back.
You're here today.
I still ask why. I was close.
Yeah, I mean, you literally had some near-death experiences, and you're here today to stand as victorious, and God brought you out of those trials and those struggles, and that's why I wanted to interview you, because you wasn't too familiar with who I was, but I knew of who you were, and I knew of God's hands and God's blessing and favor upon your life. And I said, I got to sit down with this woman of God, because I know that what she has is, when she began to communicate it, it would become a blessing to people. So, so you overcame being in the hospital. Another tragic thing happened after that, few months or several months. I forget how long ago,
3 months.
3 months after that, your house was burned down.
Oh, before that, my brother passed.
Oh.
My mama have 2 kids. My only brother.
Wow, your only brother passed. That was
died in his sleep.
That was.
And he had just left my bedside.
Wow. That was, I can't even imagine, because I can't imagine how I lose a sibling, because I never, obviously never experienced that. But wow, that's close when it hits home like that. I always say, if you lose a sibling or a mother or father or something like that,
it's a whole different ball game.
It's a different ball game.
It's a whole different.
It's a whole different situation.
And it. When I got my breath back in my body, I was on cloud 10. I know I did a lot of lies. I was happy. God brought me back. And still today, I be thinking, trying to process. I said, But he took me through, I want to say he took me, he allowed something else to happen. And so when my brother died, even though it's devastating. I was down, I was depressed, but I still served.
Yeah.
Even from my hospital bed, I set up the grab and go tape. I had teams out there. We still was feeding. Even when my brother died, we still was feeding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you were
It's
still
like
serving,
I was
even though
still
you were going
the
through the
storm. Yeah,
trials, the
even
storm.
though God still was pushing me, and that's why I keep pushing name stands so powerful to me now. Because God kept pushing me. I could not just.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I could not just
Yeah.
stop.
Right.
God just kept pushing me,
Yeah.
even through the storm. And so when I got mommy up here, and I was like, okay, we got this. We got this. I really feel like him and said, no, let me try one more. Let me try one more.
Yeah.
And so that's when the house burned down. And when the house burned down, I mean, to ashes, I mean, then leave not a crumb, then leave not a residue.
Nah.
I think that was the point in my mind. I had to really look up and say, okay, I got two choices. I'm either going to crumble or I'm gonna keep walking.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you. And like I said, this is exclusive to you. I never said this before. I went all the way back to those four walls that I sat in for 7 years. And I said, God, if I didn't crumble under 7 years between four walls, why should I crumble when I'm free and able to still walk?
Wow.
If that didn't break me,
why should this break me?
Why should this break me?
Wow.
So literally the week after the house burned down, that Saturday, that following Saturday, I hosted one of the biggest Thanksgiving giveaway in Jennings.
The week before it burned
After.
down? Or after?
After.
Oh, wow.
Hosted one of the biggest Thanksgiving giveaway that we ever have hosted during our grab and go time.
I remember that.
Yeah. And at that moment, I realized God had planted me in my church. And I had told my pastor 2 years before that, when we had NYC conference here.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the pastor that preached that night.
Right.
But he said, God have called you to do something. I need y'all to stop. He had the whole dome stop. And he said, let God talk to your heart. And he said, wherever what he told you in your heart, speak it to your pastor and let your pastor confirm it or, let you know if it was all right.
Right.
That night at NYC, God told me I would be on one accord with my church. My skills, my everything would be on one accord.
Will be brought into the light. Yeah, because I was basically watching everything from afar, how God brought you into the church, and it almost seems like your ministry within the church just took off.
And I don't understand it, but that's the same way he did when I was in my front yard. People ask me today, how did you get on ABC? Do you have a number? Do you have an email? How did you get on CNN? Do you have a number? Do you have contact? Who's your PR rep? How did you get in BBC News? And literally, as a marketing major, I know I didn't do what they taught us how you're supposed to do stuff.
Right. The necessary steps to get on those news stations. Right.
I literally Googled my name one day, like, oh my God. And that's God. Mm-hmm. But see, God do stuff, like he said, your name will be in rooms you don't even know about.
Right.
I literally live that. But I literally live it now with just trusting him.
Wow.
Keeping focused. Even though I feel this, like I'm human, I cry, I scream, I yell. But if he brought me through 2020 on an entrepreneur level, when we tell anybody you're not going to do nothing your first year.
Right.
And my first year, none of my bills got delayed. And then I even had the bank give me a brand new car.
A miracle in itself.
You understand what I'm saying? Why would I crumble after he take everything?
Right.
because he gave me enough cushion and he already laid my foundation that I know I didn't have no cracks in it. So even though I'm hurt, I'm broken, as I tell people, we're going to take all these broken pieces and build together because we're going to be whole. We come back whole. So my thing is 2021, we changed our mission at Keep Pushing because it was focused on unhoused, homeless. But we change it. God gave me, let's create a better direction for the neighbors. I said, neighbors, God? People don't think it's like, no, he said, your neighbors is everybody. Your neighbors are not just in your neighborhood. Your neighbors are everybody.
Everybody.
So no matter where you are, if you call me, if God put you across my path, you're my neighbor. And if I can help you, I'm going to help. If I'm going to fight for you, because in the church, as I see now, it's more standing in the gap for my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Using my skills what I know for my brothers and sisters. It's not me always trying to be, no, it's me saying, hey, we are one body. Right now, I see your pinky toe is not working right.
Right.
Let me stand next to you. Let me help you. Hey, we are one body. I see your arm is not working right. Let me connect to you. Because we're going to bring these broken pieces together. And that's what the body of Christ is all about.
Wow. You know, as I listen to you talk, one thought is coming into my head. And really, it might be a dumb question, but, you know, you're a Black woman. Obviously, you're not on the Forbes list of billionaires. You're not rich. So,
Poor.
what gave you the inspiration to feel like you can accomplish everything that you have accomplished right now? I mean, like I said, it might be a dumb question, but because, you know, I want you to be able to, because when I show this interview to, you know, younger Black women, younger Black girls in the community that might see this, you know, interview, and maybe they feel like, you know, they don't have the qualifications, they don't have the skills, they don't have the money, they don't have the husband, they don't have the rich family member, or they don't have the status quo to accomplish what you have accomplished. You know, what would you say to those girls? Because what gave you the inspiration to feel like you could do what you could do?
So
I know faith has a lot to do with it, but
yeah,
you know.
faith has a lot to do with it, but my foundation, my roots have a lot to do with it. One, like I told you minutes ago, my mother and father made sure I felt like the queen I am.
Right.
As I grew up, they made sure I didn't want for nothing. And so this was me living on their level without me knowing the word.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I always had the confidence that I could do anything. You put a piece of pencil and a eraser and tell me to build a house.
Right.
I'm gonna have that confidence that I'm gonna build a house with those two items, because that's what my roots are built upon. Now, when you put what your foundation from your family and what you was built upon, and you get connected and know God, the word for yourself, because I had that moment where I had to just get to know the word for myself and grew that relationship. I grew another root. I grew a root that had promises in them. I grew a root that was not going to come back to me void. I grew a root that he would never forsake me or leave me. I grew a root that said he was always, in all things, everything worked for the good.
Right.
So now I got the root of my family, my birth parents, but I got the root from my eternal Father. Amen. And when you put those things together, even though my bank account is in negative, and even though I don't have the riches and all that, I got two roots that make me work to keep pushing. Because if he loved me so much to allow me to go through sickness, grief, and the fire in one season.
Yeah, literally one season.
I got to know that the promise that he said, that what my pastor preached about, what I listen, what I read, is all for that good. So if it's all for that good, and I'm a believer, because you have to be, make sure I say this, you have to be a believer
Okay.
to understand the push where I'm at right now. My first book that's gonna come out is gonna be Serving on E.
That's a great title.
Serving on E, because in the natural eye, I don't have nothing.
Right.
I don't have nothing that say I'm capable of even being able to feed one person.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But in his promise, in that scripture saying, I will supply all your needs.
Right.
I got more riches that you could ever see. So only thing God said, faith without works is dead. So God, I have faith in you, so I'm going to do the work. So that's why I keep pushing to activate the faith. Because if I activate the faith, you supply all my needs.
Wow.
That's
powerful.
If we serving on E, because we look it through the natural eye.
That's powerful.
But if I'm serving with the promise, I don't care what the bank account say. I don't care what it says. He's going to supply, because I'm walking in faith.
Wow, that's powerful. Because, when I think of your life and what you've gone through and been through, it's really hard for me to say that, or it's really hard for me to really feel bad about my life, because, regardless of the ups and downs I have in business, financially, whatever, as an entrepreneur, you lose some, you win some, or whatever, right? When I think about the things you have gone through and came out victorious, successful, alive, it really gives me, inspiration and motivation. And I know that there's probably tons of people at the church at New Life St. Louis, one of the greatest pastors,
one of the best
in the world, Pastor Aaron Batchelor, and I tell you, I just know that, your testimony is just powerful. It's just a powerful testimony that really, really says that if I could do it, if I could make it, if I could walk the faith walk and go through it, you can too. And I think that inspires people to look at their situation and say, hey, I can make it through it. I could go through this. Look at Sister Shana. Because you literally, your house burned down to the ground.
Not one time. It set on fire twice.
Twice, and nothing left.
Sure.
And for you to, I don't know if people wrap their head around the things that you have went through. Like, I don't know if they can really comprehend the struggle you went through, and you are still smiling and still going to church, still serving God, still believing in not having a negative, bitter spirit or somebody owe me something. You are literally going out and you're serving and being a blessing, even though you've been through all this. It really makes me feel like a pretty, I'm a pretty sad Christian. Like, what the heck am I doing in my life? How am I being a blessing?
But think about it. Just really think about it. If you're a believer, just because I had to be a believer to understand this. In my other world, I've been like, checked out. But how can we go to church and go to service and listen to all this and be like, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes.
Right.
Like, every time, I'm telling you, every time pastor say, he don't even have to say the whole word, but he said, when I think, I'd be like, woo, pastor, woo, Jesus.
Like you want to shout on that one.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't even have to say when I think back. You just
Right.
when I think.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because even the thought. I mean, in this world right now, everybody, if they can't think about nothing else, they can think about 2020.
Yeah.
Because everybody was affected.
Right.
Everybody, even the man with the most money was affected.
That's true.
So when you think that, just that, and then when you understand, I couldn't see it in 2020.
Right.
But I had to believe it. Now years later, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna see it. I don't see nothing in my bank account. I don't see nothing at the table. I don't see nothing. But I gotta believe it because I got too many things that I think about.
Yeah.
That he have brought me.
Wow.
That he has literally brought me. So why shall I crumble now? When the man hung on the cross and took it all for me.
Wow.
When I didn't even know him. But I shout and everything and praise him because I saw the victory. But can you shout while you're in the storm? Because you don't see it. Because he said all things work together. So even though I'm in this storm, as long as I keep looking up and keep walking by faith, I know that all is going to happen.
Wow.
Because his word don't come back.
Don't come back void, that's sure.
But you have to be a believer to understand it.
Yeah.
You can't be lukewarm.
Right.
You gotta be.
Gotta be a believer.
Gotta be a believer.
Wow, that's powerful. That's a powerful testimony right there. Oh wow. I tell you, you are definitely a blessing. New Life St. Louis is definitely blessed to have you.
Oh, I love New Life.
You're to me, you're a visionary. You're an entrepreneur. You're a thought leader. You're the I would say civil rights community type activists of our day. You know, it's just to describe you is really to describe somebody that's very remarkable from head to toe. And it has been a blessing and a pleasure to sit down with you today and to interview you. And hopefully this interview will be shared and all the way around the world because I'm going to promote this heavily because I feel like people need to hear really
realize
hear that, hey, you can be victorious in anything you go through. You can make it. You could come out alive. You could come out and make it through any storm if you're a believer, if you trust in Jesus. But the problem is we don't want to trust and we don't want to trust in God and walk in faith because we're afraid that it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to work.
I tell everybody, let me be your example. Let me be your example. I don't mind being the example. I really, and that son that you love so much,
right?
If you
that
ask
cool
him,
guy,
if you just ask him one day, say, what was your mother words to you before she stopped breathing? You'd be shocked at the answer you get. That's your homework.
Yeah,
answer that question.
That's a good homework.
And so, with God, we say surrender. Use me. Okay, what you think what do you think he just gonna get you to go downstairs and get somebody a hot dog?
Right.
He gave his whole life. He told his father, he's something to say the whole world. So what you think he wants his children? What are we surrendering to?
Wow. So how can people reach out to you? Because obviously this interview is going to be, around all the social media networks around the world. Like I said, I'm going to promote it heavily. So how can people reach out to you? They want to help with Keep Pushing Inc., or if they want to be a blessing, maybe donate to your nonprofit, because you do take money, right, to help with your nonprofit.
Of
You take
course.
credit,
Listen,
debit, cash,
credit,
checks,
debit, Visa,
anything,
MasterCard, American Express,
anything.
debit,
You take
every,
them all,
we take
right?
it all.
Okay, because
We set up for everything.
okay, good, because
Tap, pay.
okay, good, okay, because because obviously people need to be able to give to a trustworthy, Christian based, nonprofit cause that they know that their money is just not going to be going to just make somebody rich, but it's going to be
Nope.
going to actually be a blessing to the community. So how can they get a hold of you?
So they could always go to the website. Website is the best way to keep up with us, but to also get in contact with us. And that's keeppushinginc.org. Always go to the website. If you're on social media, Keep Pushing Inc. on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. If you go to the LinkedIn, a lot of people on the LinkedIn, you just put in Shana Jones, you'll get the information there. But always follow us on our website. Up there at the top, it's a nice button. You can pledge. You can pledge monthly. You can pledge
Good.
yearly. You can pledge one time, but you can always pledge. But you can always go on Facebook, Cash App, Vimo. Any tag is always going to be Keep Pushing Inc. All our
Okay.
tags to any
Okay.
payment, anything is Keep Pushing Inc.
Well, you heard it, folks. Go donate. We're gonna donate. My company is gonna donate. I'm gonna talk to other business owners. We're gonna donate. I'm gonna motivate some other people to donate. So definitely do that. And Sister Shana, ma'am, it's a pleasure and an honor. Thank you for being a part of this sit down.
You're gonna pull the exclusive out of me today.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And guys, thank you for tuning in to Deeper Life Podcast on the Deeper Life Network. Again, I'm your host, Ronaldo Cochran. Deeper Life Network is about faith, family, and entrepreneurship. So continue to check us out. We're going to have upcoming future interviews with other thought leaders, and share this interview. Like it, comment, share it, and I'm looking forward to what God's going to do. Anyway, see you guys next time around. God bless.